Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. So the other day I was melting some scrap and casting it into ingots so I can recycle it, and I thought that's a good opportunity now to do something that requires some thick silver. So I cut a little piece off of one of these slabs that I just cast, and I thought it would be fun to try and sculpt a ring. And I've never really tried anything like this, so we'll see how it goes, but it should be a good experiment. Whether it proves successful or not is yet to be known, so I guess we'll find out by the end of the video here. But I've seen some things that look very sculptural that were rings that look like they were carved out of a solid piece of silver. So I was going to try to do one that I particularly liked, or something similar to one I particularly liked, and so I think it'll be fun. Before we start, though, I need to thank some people. My patrons over on Patreon are my core group of supporters. I truly value their company on Patreon over there. Not only do they help me financially and help keep this channel sustained, they also have proven to be a really nice community of talented and intelligent people. So I like to tap into their knowledge. I hope they take advantage of what I know, and we get to share ideas and stuff. It's a nice place. So thank you guys for making it like that. The other group is my YouTube subscribers, and we passed 23,000 just the other day, which is amazing. Thank you for that. Some of the nicest comments I get on YouTube are when people tell me that I've helped them to get out of a slump, or they find my videos helpful in inspiring them with ideas or things like that. It's very gratifying for me to know that some people are getting some good out of these, so thanks for that. It's nice to know that. I also appreciate the financial support. The Buy Me a Coffees, the super thanks, people who buy my ebooks or my merch. All of your kind contributions like that really help to sustain my channel, and I probably couldn't do it without your help. So thank you for that. Let's get started on this project and see if we can pull it off. This is one of my design idea sketchbooks, which are available on my merch store. This one has a chart that has a conversion between gauges, inches, and millimeters, which I find super useful. They all come with this dot matrix in the background that helps me to kind of keep things symmetrical. It's like graph paper, except not as obtrusive. And that makes my drawings much better. So I love having all of my projects that I've done recently in a book, because I can go back and revisit them. So I think it's a useful thing to have. So get yourself one of those. Also, so right now, up until Labor Day, we're having a Labor Day sale in the merch store, so I thought I'd show you a few of the things that we have that don't get a lot of traffic because they're lower on the list, but we have these nice magnets that have useful information, like this is how to find the size of a ring blank and stuff like that. This one, it gives you a rule of thumb about how to pick a saw blade size for when you're cutting through different kinds of metal, so that's kind of handy. This one has different types of silver and solders and their melting temperatures and flow temperatures. Also some conversions for troy ounces. There's these nice cups. This one's got one of our cats on it. It says, "I'm creative after coffee." So he's cute. We have "I'm creative after coffee" cup with our dog on it. So, and then we have this nice one. It's growth, talent, skills, passion, art, and AG for silver at the top. And if you read it downwards, it says artist goals. And also, of course, these are probably the most popular things are the different sketchbooks. They have this nice dot matrix design in them, and they have different charts and information on the back that are useful. This one has ring size chart. So, of course, there's my ebooks as well, but everything is 15% off until Labor Day. So check it out if you've been thinking about getting something. Now is a good time for it. So get yourself some merch. So every time you make a purchase like that, it really helps to sustain my channel, and I do appreciate that. So if you enjoy my content and you want some cool merch, make sure to get yourself something. Okay, so here's what I have in mind for today. Like I said, I cast a couple of slabs. I don't got a couple of decent ones, and so I cut a piece out of one of them. They come out to be about 4 millimeters thick, I think. And I've actually, after I cut this piece off, I cut it a little shorter than I want it to be in the ring, the eventual ring. But I rolled it through the rolling mill a couple of times too, just to kind of flatten it out and get it symmetrical. And you can see it's already stretched it out a little bit. So by the time I roll it a couple more times, I think we'll be about the right length. But what I was thinking is we could do partial rolls to kind of gradually taper it down so it's thickest in the middle and then gets narrower towards the ends. I may also, in order to get this to look the way I want, I've never done this, like I said, so this is kind of an experiment, but I think if once this is rolled out into the shape I want, I might solder a piece of 18 gauge sheet on the bottom of it that is narrower than the outside edge, so that as I carve these places in here like this, I want them to kind of go underneath. The piece I saw that I really liked, it almost looked like they drilled through there. No, I don't think I'm going to have enough to very carefully drill, so what I may do is I may use my saw and cut it like a little V in there and see if we can cut kind of a notch, and then maybe drill underneath or through that spot if we need to. But either way, I can use a ball burr on my Dremel to carve these into neat channels. So we'll see how much effort it takes. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I was thinking about this while I was drawing it up too. I think it would be best probably to do this carving after it's round, because if you do it while it's flat and then you bend it into a circle, it's going to affect the geometry of the stuff. It's going to spread those open wide. And I want them to look like I want them to look when I carve them. I don't want them to change. So let's get it round, soldered into a ring shape and made into a circle. And then we'll carve it out and see how that goes. But again, I'm flying this airplane while I'm building it, so we'll see how it goes. But I think let's find the center of this. Then I'm going to mark a couple of. Well, I think I'm going to mark a mark on either side equidistant from that center point. I'm not sure how much yet. And we'll roll the rolling mill up to that edge to gradually thin it out a little bit on the ends. Make a new mark, thin it out a little bit more, make a new mark, thin it out a little bit more, so it kind of steps down. And then I'll just take a hammer and I'll kind of smooth it out, and we'll see if we can get that. We're also probably going to have to use a saw at some point to taper this down a little bit. So 18 gauge sheet, which I may use, is 1 millimeter. This is about 3.5 after I rolled it a couple of times. And that's probably all we're going to need. But I don't know, we'll see. It's kind of nice to have a thick chunk of silver to see what you can do with it. I've done that for a couple of things, and it's always kind of gives you an added thing that, you know, it opens up some things you can make that you probably couldn't make with just sheet and wire. Because I certainly never buy sheet that thick. That's pretty thick. That'd be really expensive right now. Okay, so if you want to see how to cast ingots, I have a video about that, which I mentioned in the last one too, I think. So let's measure that and put a mark on there. 1, 2, so midway down that one. This is about the middle right here. Okay, so what if we went about I kind of want the top to be pretty thick, so maybe we can stretch out these and thin them out starting about, oh, I don't know. Let's go, that's 5, 10. I don't want to go all the way to 15, but I think about 17 away from the center. So that'll be our first demarcation. Okay, so let's go over to the rolling mill. Let's see what we can do here. The idea is we roll it only up to this line, only up to this line. So hopefully I'll be able to cut out the parts of the frame that have all the mess that's here that I'm not showing you so much of. But apologies for having a big mess. So I think I'm going to have to kind of get down low to see how far this in this goes. You go just a little bit further. Almost got it to the line there. That's about right. Pretty good. Let's tighten it just a little bit. So I made a new mark about 5 millimeters further down. Okay, so you can see it's subtle, but it's gradually getting thinner down here. So let's go back and see how it looks. I'm going to anneal this. As you run things through a rolling mill, you're work hardening them. You're stressing the metal and causing it to restructure itself into a harder state. And so, in order to get it softer again, to make it more malleable, we'll heat it up almost to a red color and then let it cool off and then pickle it towards the end. So let's go back and do that. So you can see we're getting closer to the length that I wanted anyway. But let's get some of this work hardening out. I flattened it with my plastic hammer on my bench block just a little bit so you could kind of see the length. Let's heat this up to kind of a dull red color. Let that cool for a minute. You don't generally want to throw a really hot chunk of silver into water or pickle. It has a tendency sometimes to crack, so I'm going to let it cool off a bit before we do that anyway. Okay, I'm going to let that pickle for a few minutes and then we'll go do some more rolling. Okay, that's pretty close to the length I had. So let's take it back and anneal it again, and then I'm going to do some manual pounding on it. Okay, now for some therapeutic whacking on the metal. Kind of trying to smooth out those transitions between different thicknesses. That's good. Now I won't need to go to therapy this week. Okay, so I'm going to just take my file, clean this up a little bit. Let's see where we're at. Okay, I got it kind of smoothed out. Let's think about how we want to lay this out and then cut out the final shape. So, I think I want it to stay pretty wide through that point there. Let's see how close we are to the center there. That's about 11. So about right there. So keep that relatively wide up to that point and then taper it down. So let's do this. As you can see, marks a little better if you do this. It's about 13 millimeters wide. So the center would be 7.5, right? One, two, three. We should be able to scribe a line between these two like that. Same way from there to there. That should get us pretty close. Let's find the center of this side. So I need to go take my saw and cut those off. So let's go do that. I have a 00 on here like I usually do. Oops. Well, I got through and then I broke the blade. Okay, I'm going to do these last two off camera. You don't have to watch me do the same thing over and over again. Okay, so now comes the fun part. I think I'm going to anneal it and then I'm going to try and shape it. So it may take a couple of annealing sessions to get this all the way into a circle because it's super thick up here. So let's see if we can do that. We'll let that cool down for a minute. Is that I did not have the camera on for that last segment there. So I just continued doing what I was doing, gradually moving down with these dapping punches. And eventually I set it up like this, so I can hammer it down that way. I think I need to anneal it one more time. And then we'll try and get those ends together and solder them. Okay, I got those lined up. That was kind of a challenge. I haven't even talked about soldering and stuff today. I use hard silver sheet solder for most everything, and I use a liquid flux that I dribble in with a dropper bottle. My torch is a Silversmith model. It's their acetylene air torch. I really like it. It's hotter than propane or butane, but not as hot as oxyacetylene because it just uses atmospheric air to burn the acetylene rather than pure oxygen. Let's see if we can shape it on the mandrel now. Some more vigorous whacking on the mandrel. Let's smooth that out a skosh. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes using my rotary tool to smooth out the inside of this a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm just going to use a white abrasive wheel. Okay, I smoothed out the inside and the outside a little bit. I kind of marked from where I tapered them here with marker. So let's kind of see if we can find the center of that. So now I need to mark out some sawing spots. And I think okay, so anywhere there's a close together double line, I'm going to cut down in that area and then try and clear a hollow space. Sort of. We'll see if I can do it with the saw or if I have to break down. We'll see if I can even do it. I think if I get a cut through there, I may be able to run a ball burr through those, so we'll see. But I think if I put that border, that piece of 18 gauge or something on the inside, it may make it too small. So let's go over and do some dremeling. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, I think I'm going to do some more sawing to get these trenches started, and then I'll do some more of that to kind of narrow things down. But eventually I want this to See, I'm cutting in down underneath there. I want it to go inwards a little ways further so that these projecting pieces stick out. Then I can kind of shape them into some unusual shapes. That's my idea. So I'm going to do some of this tedious stuff off camera, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so I'm going to keep working it. I got most of the sawing done. I think I got those trenches started, so done some of them, but so I think what I'm going to do now is spend some time with my file. I'm going to shape the ends of these so there's all sort of different. Okay, so I'm going to spend some time making those all kind of unique, and then I'll be back. So I got everything kind of polished up, and I could have done a little bit better job of getting it neater in between these, I think. But I did use one of the blue fine abrasive wheels in there, and that smoothed it out significantly. But next time, if I was to do this again, I would be a little more careful about that. So, yeah, I think that's an interesting ring. Probably sort of masculine, you know, but not necessarily. So tell me what you think. What would you have done differently? Do you think there's an easier way to do something like this? This was quite a lot of work to do this. So I'm sure there's probably an easier way. So I'm curious what you all think and how you would do it. So let me know. Alright, well that was the sculptural ring project. I actually filmed the intros and conclusions first, and so I have no idea whether I succeeded at that or not. Hopefully I did. If not, we can look at it as a learning experience, but if we did, and you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button before you go. I'd also love it if you'd hit the main YouTube channel page of mine. I have over 500 videos. I've been doing this for 3.5 years now on YouTube. And I put out 3 videos per week, so there's quite a bit of content built up. And I think you're almost certainly going to find something interesting or useful for you, whether you're advanced or intermediate or beginner. So check it out, watch a few videos. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the video description down below. There's some important links there. There's a link to my merch store if you want to take advantage of that sale I talked about that goes through Labor Day. 15% off. There's a link to my ebooks. It's a great way to have a whole bunch of projects at your fingertips because each one covers all of the YouTube videos that I did in the previous year. So 2023's has all of them from that year, 2024's has all of them from 2024. And I will have one for 2025 after the first of the year, hopefully, if I can get my act together. But it includes lots of extra information about the videos and a link right to the video, a materials list or a difficulty rating, and a picture of the initial drawing that I made, as well as a picture of the final piece. So it gives you access to a whole bunch of projects, and it also is a nice way to support my channel. So get yourself one of those. And there's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out more about that community. There's multiple tiers of membership. The first one, the lowest tier, is just getting my YouTube videos without the commercials, and also just a nice way to kind of support my channel. The other tiers have additional benefits, including live streams and exclusive videos just for them. So check those out. I'd love to have you on Patreon as well. So thanks again for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.